But let's jump into the next clip here.
People will be like, if all that bad stuff didn't happen to you, then you wouldn't be who you are today. I don't want to be who I am today. I want to be mentally stable.
And this is what we talk about when we talk about on the channel. Girls simultaneously have a really high opinion of themselves and a really low opinion of themselves at the same time. Okay, you might look at this and go, see, a lot of people get the misconception that girls have high self-esteem. Okay, I mean, look at this, right? She's got a lot of makeup on, you know, she's dressed herself up, made her hair look nice, she's wearing a dress, and, you know, she's doing what she can to make herself look better in this video. But make no mistake, people like this, man, they don't like themselves. They find it difficult to live with themselves. They're often, you know, in her own words, not mentally stable. They don't like who they are. I mean, let's look at the sentence. Let's have a pause on it. I don't want to be who I am today. And you see, this is the problem that girls have, because what a lot of them will do is they will derive their self-esteem based on what other people think of them. And when I say what other people think of them, I mean, you know, the guy that this girl wants, who isn't interested in her, he's the one who's setting her self-esteem. This is why you'll notice that girls have such a mixture. And what'll happen is, girls like this, they will have endless amounts of validation and appreciation thrown at them simply for existing. Okay, so on the one hand, it makes their head get really large and they think to themselves, well, I'm a queen, I'm fantastic, I'm all this and that. But then on the other hand, the guy that they're really interested in, he just views her as another girl and she's not too interesting. Okay, so they end up with this weird thing where they simultaneously really like themselves. They think that they're the best thing ever, but then they also hate themselves. And one way to describe this would be an insecure narcissist is the phrase I would use to describe this. Let's jump into the next video.
What do you do for a living? I glow. Physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, I glow. It's what I do now. It's what I'm going to keep doing. Just wear some sunglasses so you don't get blinded.
And this is what I'm talking about, right? And, you know, when I first recorded this video, I didn't even realize that these clips were back to back. I pulled up a bunch from this person's profile, and I want you to just notice the huge difference. So in this one, she says that she doesn't want to be who she is today. You know, she doesn't like herself, right? And then in this one, she thinks that she's glowing and that, you know, she glows, what is it? Physically, mentally, financially, and emotionally. You see, this is what I'm talking about when I say that girls like this, they're split. They're insecure narcissists is what it is. And I don't say that to be mean, I don't say that to be rude to the girl, but I think a lot of guys get the misconception out here that these girls have high self-esteem. They absolutely do not. They derive it from their surroundings, right? And most often, they place the most weight on the guys who aren't interested in them. This is why girls will sort of become, like, they'll become a mashup of different dudes, right? And I can't go into too much details because of this, I mean, on this because, you know, YouTube. But you'll notice in terms of bedroom fun, shall we say, she'll often pick up different things from different guys that she thinks would please that guy, and then oftentimes girls will actually mold their personalities around this as well. It's really kind of disturbing to watch happen.
If you want to be toxic, here's a good texting disclaimer.
Now we got this video here, toxic texting tip number 15, right? So we can only assume that she's made 14 videos before this on how to text toxically. And just before we jump into it, I feel like I should give you guys a warning. This video alone, so only this one, has 1.2 million likes on it. Now, likes are oftentimes a very small fraction of the amount of views. So this video, I believe, has 10 million plus views on it alone. So if you are, you know, it's just so dangerous, right? Like places like TikTok, man, we want to think to ourselves, oh, well, it's only the bad people that come across this information. No, this information is public and it goes around to a lot of people. Chances are, if you're dating a girl who uses TikTok, she's probably come across this before, or at least something along these lines. Let's continue and see what she has to say.
This only works if you're not blocked. You're going to text your ex about your special spot. If it's a restaurant, ask, what was the name of that place where we got that type of food? Be very specific. If they tell you the name of the spot, say, okay, thank you so much. They'll be wondering who you're going there with, because clearly it's not them. This also makes that special spot seem a lot less special. Can't be...
You know, girls will, I would just find this funny. Okay, is what I would find this. You see, what girls will do, and here's a trick. So maybe you're new to dating, or you're just kind of getting back into it. But let me just put it to you this way: if you are a viable romantic interest to a girl, and you are not committing to her, oftentimes they'll play these little games to try and get you to care about them. They'll try and manipulate you into caring. And one of the ways girls will do this, and this is specifically for Instagram, is, okay, let's just say you've got a girl, right, and you're not committing to her, but she wants you to commit to her. What she might do is she might go on a quote-unquote date with a guy. Like, so she'll grab a guy friend or, you know, something like that, and she'll go on like a picnic. And what she's going to do on that picnic is she's going to grab her phone and she's going to take a picture, like overlooking the nice waterfront or wherever the hell she's at, right? And she's going to intentionally get like a piece of someone's arm in the shot or their foot or something like that. And then she's going to post that to social media, usually an Instagram story. And what that's supposed to do is it's supposed to make you, as the guy, you know, watching, as the guy she's actually interested in, jealous. So there's a few things to note about this situation. I'm just going to let this video play so you guys have something to moving to kind of look at here. Is girls will do this, okay? And there's a few things to say about that. Number one, the guy that she drags on the date to make you jealous, he doesn't know that he's just being used. Right? So from that guy's perspective, he might think, oh, finally, it's my chance to talk to this girl. I really like her. She's finally given me a chance, right? Just clueless. And then he goes on the date and, you know, forks out some money for it, and they have a quote-unquote good time. And then he's thinking, oh boy, maybe on my next date I'll get to give her a peck on the cheek, and maybe she'll like me a bit more, and we can see where it goes from there. Little does that guy know, he's just being used as a pawn to get your attention. You see what I'm saying here, gentlemen? It's all like people become pawns to manipulate other men into doing stuff. And I wish I wasn't so cynical about it, guys, but I have seen this so many times you wouldn't believe. Okay, this whole texting guys in a particular way, or using men to make other men jealous, guys, it is far more common than you might think. And the really sad part about it is, here's who loses from this, okay? Yeah, the girls kind of lose because they make themselves look like clowns, if you know what you're looking at. But the losers of this particular situation are the dudes that they use in between who don't know what the hell is going on. And I don't know, I just find that incredibly sad. We got way too many men out here just believing in what girls say. But let's go to the next clip.
So
and I believe this one is some more some dating advice. Let's see what she's got to say.
Recently, someone was talking to me about dating and boundaries, and they mentioned something, and I said, no, that doesn't really bother me. And they said, well, doesn't that make you jealous? And I responded, no. And I'm really not a jealous person. A lot of things that would bother a lot of people just don't get to me. And this isn't because I'm evolved or anything.
This is just pure speculation, okay, what I'm about to say here. But here's my hypothesis, right? And this is going to be an overly cynical one, okay? Maybe I'm looking into it a little bit too much, extrapolating a bit too much, but when she just said there that I don't get jealous about normal things like normal people do, I reckon the reason that she said that subconsciously is because she was with a dude who was, you know, stepping out of the relationship, and then he would come back home to this girl, or where, you know, he would come back to hang out with this girl, and then he would say to her, oh, it's so cool that you're not like all the other girls, you know, other girls would often get jealous, right? And she'd go, huh, yeah, I'm not the jealous type, of course not. Right? You see what that is, right? He's stepping out of the relationship. He's coming back to her, and he's saying, oh, well, you know, it's so good that you're so chill, right? You don't get jealous like normal people. And then she takes that and she goes, you're right. Like, that's a positive thing about myself. And now she carries it until this day. That's my guess as to why she had that little thing there.
It's because I heard this one piece of advice that really stuck with me. And the piece of advice is that you do not need to trust them. You need to trust yourself enough to leave.
Yeah, and so the question becomes, do these girls leave? Right? When Chad doesn't want to commit to them, when he has no interest in them, when he's not giving them attention, not replying to their messages, ghosting, and these girls are all caught up in their feelings, like, oh, maybe he's with another girl, and, you know, that anxiety, and it makes her fall in love, and she's so excited, she's got the butterflies. You think that she's going to leave? Right? again, these girls will get on camera, okay, and they'll sit there and they'll say, you know, you need to be leaving and all this kind of stuff. But the question becomes, do they actually leave? Because more often than not, the answer is no, they don't. But shout out, right? Like, this is good advice, okay? Like, if the guy's not interested in you, you should leave. But you've got a question: do they take that advice or not?
Because there's always going to be someone prettier than you, someone smarter, someone funnier. That is a losing game. You will always lose to someone at some point. The only thing you can control is you. You'll never control them as hard as you try. But you can control that you'll respond appropriately if they do.
Yeah, and again, do these girls do that? Right, and did you notice the little smirk that she gave there, right? When she said, you can't control him even if you wanted to, she gave a little smirk. I would guess that this girl's been in that situation a few times, where the guy that she's interested in is not going to be acting the way that she wants. Okay, here's what'll happen. The girls will go out here, they'll date guys who have no interest in dating them back, right? And they'll try and control the dude's behavior. Right, and the degree to which they can control the dude's behavior, ironically enough, is how quickly they lose interest. Right, and this is something we talk about endlessly on the channel, guys. But when these girls, when they finally do change a dude's behavior, oftentimes it just makes them disinterested. Right, that's when you start hearing things like, and I'm kind of losing my voice here. I just recorded a video before this one. Excuse me. This is when you start to hear things like, "Oh, we drifted apart." Right, now, she might use that sentence if you're a dude who's been there as a provider for the entire time, but she might also use that sentence if you're a dude that she managed to change. Oh, we drifted apart. Oh, you know, and this is where you start to hear, oh, we need a break from the relationship, right? Like, oh, we've just been going our separate ways lately. This is all the words under the bridge to say, you changed. You listened to me, you did what I asked, and now I'm bored.
That you're gonna leave. And they are going to be the only person dealing with the aftermath of what they did, because that is not your problem. So don't waste your peace.
I find that last part there as well to be particularly funny. Okay, because you think that Chad, look, the guy who has options, the guy who you're interested in who has options, you think he's going to have difficulty sleeping with himself at night when he passes you up? No. When Chad treats you poorly, when he doesn't answer your texts and everything like that, and you decide to cut off the situationship, you think that he's going to care? Right? He doesn't have to live with himself. He doesn't have to live with the consequences of his actions. Dude, he doesn't care. That's the point. I'm not saying this to be mean to the girl making this video, but the chances are he just doesn't care about you. Like, what these girls will do is they need to give themselves some peace of mind, thinking that they won at the end of the day. You didn't win. You've got no ring. You've got no commitment out of it. Okay, girls will get to 40, 50, 60 years old, and you know, if they're still single by then, guys, it's like, okay, well, the question becomes, why are they single by then? These girls who are 30, 40, 50, right, who haven't got a ring, the question you should ask yourself is why? As girls get older and they don't have relationships, gentlemen, and they're actively looking for one, it just becomes increasingly more of a red flag, because they could have had the commitment at any time. Excuse me. Right, but they choose not to. You've got to ask yourself, and the answer to the question is obviously they're out there having fun. And if they're out there having fun and they've been having fun with all these guys, why should you give up your commitment? Why would you let them shame you into giving up your commitment to stay with them? You know, maybe they got a couple of kids in tow and stuff like that.